Welcome everyone to episode four of Next Man Up podcast. We've got a very special guest here once again today. My guy, state championship defensive backs coach, CEO and founder of Drake's Books on Instagram, the unequivocal, undisputed king of the valley, Drake Irvine. Let's give it up for Drake Irvine, ladies and gentlemen. Drake Irvine.
Oh, shit. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that that intro. Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you for you guys, taking out this time, all of our crazy days to do this thing, man. I'm really excited to, talk to you guys and share some knowledge to you guys' perspective on things. So let's get it going.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Donnie, before we get going, man, any words?
Nah, man, I just hope everybody's staying strong through these times, man. I know it's hard. I'm just hoping that the three of us right now can give you guys some entertainment for the next couple of days, something to look forward to, something to watch, and we hope you guys enjoy this episode.
All right. And before we get started right here, I just want to give a shout-out to our guy at Tehran Thomas right here for the tees. All right, man, we're going to have some Next Man Up podcast tees and hoodies and whatnot coming available real soon, so be on the lookout for that. Shout out to him to be able to put that together for us. We really appreciate that. So make sure y'all get up with him. We'll post the link to his page in the bio. So without further ado, let's just jump right to it. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. Let's talk about it now. The Last Dance. That Michael Jordan Bulls documentary, man. Let's get into it. Drake, we're about 8 episodes in now out of 10. I need your thoughts. I need your feelings. I need what's going on, man. What you think?
Man. Shit, I think it's weird because, our generation, we didn't live to experience this contextually. You know what I'm saying? We only get what happens after the fact. And oftentimes, truth in history or history is told from the side of winners, and there can be a lot of lies and BS in that. So it's good to get the raw, actual truth of what happened because, old heads like to lie. Old heads be lying,
Right.
But I think my main takeaway from this whole thing is just how broken in spirit Michael Jordan was. Like, it's so – I feel for him. I feel for his pain. You could just see the sadness. Like, nothing ever really made him happy. Like, what I saw after when he broke down and cried on that the Father's Day game, it seemed like he realized nothing in life will ever make me happy. Like, I lost my dad. I just won a championship, but I'm not happy.
Right.
And I thank God he was in a profession that was goal-oriented and was in an era, where people didn't really care too much about how you talk to them. Fortunately, that all worked out for him. But I think now with our level of awareness and being able to see things a little bit differently from a different view, I guess we can see how broken and how much healing that man has to go through or needs. But he's a dog. We knew that. Like, right. He's a crazy maniacal killer. Like, that ain't nothing new. I guess just learning how broken he is and how much his spirit needs to be healed.
To touch on that, like, just the power of the media really showed a lot in the last 2 episodes, especially, like how his father passed away. And one of the first articles up is, did it have something to do with him gambling? Like, his father just passed away and you're instantly throwing a shot at, was it because his son was gambling? Like, just the power of the media and how much it can tear somebody down and really just wear somebody down. Like, nowadays it's even worse because we got the power of social media. Just imagine if there was social media back in the day. That's what I got. If there was some social media back in the day, like a big platform, I don't know if Jordan comes back after the 95 season when he retired. I don't know if he comes. I don't know if he feels that it's worth it because the media was tearing him down, man. And that's sad because who knows how much longer he could have played. Them 2 years, a year and a half he was gone. Like, who knows what could have been. They could have won 7 in a row for all we know, 8 in a row. Like, I feel like the media took that away from us. And then obviously, like Drake said too, I mean, the more I watch it, the more I just realize, like, he was really a dog. Like, I mean, we were lucky enough to have Kobe, who was a dog in his own, but, like, just some of the stuff that this guy was doing, man, was incredible. So, like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I'm just really seeing a side of him that I never thought, like, I would get to see because old heads would always say, you didn't see Jordan. And I didn't get to see him, but this documentary is at least giving me a piece of it.
Right. And to kind of touch on those points, man, I mean, you heard it in the episode. His mom was talking about how he kind of always put on a front for everybody to be, like, protective of his family and kind of make sure he was staying strong for them. And I think that's something that we can all attest to having to do at some point in our lives more often than not. You know what I mean? You know, it's just, especially, you know, being black men, just, you know, the things that go on day to day, man. Like, you can kind of attest to having to put on that happy face or that I'm all right. You know what I mean? And, you know, for him to be able to kind of deal with everything he was dealing with and then still go out there and perform and go get that championship, man. I mean, that just kind of speaks to his mentality and his attitude. And then again, I mean, to that point, I know everybody kind of characterizes him as an asshole, and I think he might even characterize himself as an asshole at times. But, like, I mean, it just shows, like, how bad he really wanted to win. And like you said, with him being in a goal-oriented, you know, profession where, you know, basically your legacy is determined by how successful you are in this, you know, winning accolades and winning championships. I mean, just to see the way he was so driven consistently and how it only took this much to get him going. Like,
even if he was making stuff up.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Literally,
even if he
bro.
had to play something in his head, bro. Like, dude came up to him after the game, after the Hornets beat him. He said, "Yeah, hey, good game, Mike." And it's like, what? You know what I mean? Like,
Because
that's all it takes.
They hi to him at dinner the night before.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, and for me, I just see the brokenness and so much pain in him. You know what I'm saying? And it's dope that he's able to channel that and fuel that into his profession, because imagine if that motherfucker like just worked at Vaughn's or some shit. Like, he's killing people probably. Like,
Could have went anyway.
He might be in prison.
Right.
At least he channeled it and took it the right way.
No, exactly.
I mean, if that's all it takes to get you going and get you right on a basketball court, man. And, bro, listen, I hate to see somebody really do something, you know what I mean? Like, really do something out of pocket to him. But, I mean, it's crazy. Honestly, I'm loving everything that I'm seeing off of this doc.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely good. It's giving us a little, you know, flashback. You know, I'm seeing a couple of old players that I'm like, oh, I forgot about him, or oh, he played for him. Like,
yeah,
you know, and that's always fun to do. They were just
coming from a diehard Jordan hater.
Yeah,
This has been very entertaining.
They were just coming from the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm like, oh man, that's Byron Scott on the bench for the Magic. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, he played for the Magic, like stuff like that, bro. But I mean, it's just great. I'm enjoying every bit of this, man. They need to do this with every great player. You know what I mean? I want to hear all these stories.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
Kobe, Bron, keep it going.
I need them all. I need them all.
Give me a Tim Duncan doc while we at it too, bro.
Shit.
That's gotta go too, man.
Yeah. But it just ain't gonna be him talking. It's gonna be everybody else. You know, he ain't gonna say nothing. It'll be everybody around him now.
Right.
They'll have stories.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. But, all right, Drake, let's get to the nitty gritty, man. Let's talk about you and your coaching experience so far. So, I mean, as I previously stated, man, you were fortunate enough to go out there, win a state championship out in California, coaching defensive backs, man. Tell me about that experience. Tell me, you know, what you've learned, what you've gained, and all that good stuff.
Man, so we won state championship 2018. Seems like such a long time ago. And that was also my first year coaching at the school. And that school, Grace Brethren, very small Christian school, very small community. It's all about putting your hard hat on and just going to work and doing the work yourself. Because it's a small school, they don't really have many facilities. They have pride in the things that are around them. So that sort of changes their mentality and the way they operate sort of on a day-to-day basis. Okay. I think mostly what I learned is just the community aspect, because that community is so strong and it's different. Like that, like culture really breeds success. Right. And the culture at the school is something unlike I've ever seen. And I think that has in part to do with obviously them having strong Christian foundations, but the head coach is one of those dudes, like he just talks and you want to put your helmet on and just go run through a wall. Like, It's just crazy the way he's able to motivate, because he's one of those still like older era guys where softness isn't in part of his vocabulary, but you know, you have to be a smart and aware grown man to realize awareness and me being empathetic and caring about what a kid's feelings are doesn't take away from anything I'm doing. So if I want to be the most effective and best coach I can, I have to find a way to change with the times and realize this I was doing back in the 90s and early 2000s might have been beneficial, but it don't work now. So it's good to see him just being open and being honest, because he is like a really straight, you know, like roughneck, bald head, got a beard. Like he's a hard hat kind of guy. But
Right.
in terms of just football itself, not really the most talented program skill position wise, but those guys know how to live and die for their brother. They don't care about themselves at all. They put their body out on the line, and it's inspiring as a coach because, we had a 5'9" corner lead the entire state in interceptions, and he was third in the country in interceptions. And this kid's 5'9", isn't a great athlete, but just has heart and has instincts. But mostly I just learned. You just learn a lot from the kids, really. I think that's what's been the most eye-opening for me, man, is just how much you learn from these little kids, not little kids, but from these young men, and how much you see yourself in them, and really want them to be their best selves and, want their generation to flourish and thrive.
Right, man. Every day you learn something new with these kids, man, or it kind of bring you back to it. It bring you back to a time where you like, oh man, bro, I was just like you, man. Like, you know what I mean? Just like you,
like man. Just like you.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy, man. But I always say, man, coaching is such a rewarding experience, man. I love being able to work with kids and help them get better.
Definitely.
Definitely, man.
That's a dope experience, man. But I mean, I think I know the answer to this question, but I want to hear from you, man. What kind of coach do you think you are?
Oh, man. What kind of coach do I think I am?
Yeah, man. Put it like this. How are you when you're out on the field at practice, during games? How do you kind of apply, your coaching philosophy and kind of
I would like to say I'm a cerebral and empathetic coach. I try to be for the most part. I want the kids to understand, or the players to understand I care about them as a human being and not just as a football player. Their worth to me has absolutely nothing to do with what they're able to accomplish on the football field. And I think that's something that was sadly instilled into my generation, of my high school class and teammates, and which is something we hated. So I'm just very aware of that and always being conscious of that. So I would like to think I'm a coach who is empathetic, just tries to think outside the box and think like I would be if I was that high school student. Maybe that isn't what you thought I was, but say that again.
So what kind of coach you think you are now, Rich, since you're asking the difficult questions?
Oh, man. What kind of coach I think I am?
Because I can answer this one for you if you want.
Nah, you ain't got to do all that, man. I'll speak for myself. Because you're going to say something out of pocket, and then we're going to have to cut. But, I mean, honestly, for me, I kind of like you said, like I try to be the player's coach, but I also, with me trying to be a player's coach, my biggest thing is don't make the same mistakes that I made. You know what I mean? So like,
correct.
It's like, look, I worked hard when I was in high school, but now that I look back, I could have worked way harder. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think that's the biggest thing that I try to like tell these kids. It's like, look, you might think you're doing this or you might think you're doing that, but I'm telling you, you got to do X, Y, Z to do this. You know what I'm saying? Or to be even better than this. Because not that even I put in all that work, but I've seen people who have put in the work and it has gotten them to this spot. You got to go even harder than that. If that's
exactly.
You know what I mean? If that's what you want. And you know, I kind of try to tell them that, on the field and in school too, like, look, don't just slack off in school, because if you do X, Y, Z, I mean, it's going to put you in a better position to do other things, and it's going to make your life easier. So I always try to hit them from the experience side of things, man. Like, look, I've done this, I've been through this. If you listen to me, I'm not saying you have to, but this is my advice on how to attack this, because I've been through this situation before, and you don't want to have to deal with X, Y, Z. So I try to, hit them on that end, and then just kind of, make sure they know there's a difference. There's a time to have fun, and we can be buddy and cool, and then there's a time.
Exactly.
Hey, get it in, because you guys said you want to accomplish this. You want to make playoffs. You want to go to a state championship, this and that. You want to be all league and all state and all that. You know what I mean? So we got to do this amount of work to get it right. So I mean, that's the way I try my best to apply it.
And to piggyback on that real quick, not to cut you guys off, but I think that's tough for younger coaches too, because we do see ourselves so much in these players. We have to be able to balance and realize there's a transactional side and there's a relational side. So there's a side of it matters what you can do for me, but then there's a side of, the relationship aspect of it. And you got to be able to balance that, because good football is good football, but you got to care about the people you're coaching. You know what I'm saying? So you got to find that balance, and it's really tough, especially, for us being young coaches and caring about people and not coaching because we want to be able to dominate, is because we want to have like a superiority complex. Like, we don't coach for that reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit more difficult for people like that.
Yeah, and Donnie, I'm gonna let you talk about it, because I mean, we both worked in the school too, so like that kind of brings a whole aspect to it, especially when you work with the kids that you coach.
Yeah, I mean, personally as a coach, I feel like I'm more of like a one-on-one type of coach. Like, so coaching D-backs as well as wide receivers, like, and coaching with the people that we coach with at William Tennant. I usually let them handle the screaming and yelling part. Like, you make a mistake, I'll let the head coach rip into you and give them a piece of mine. And then I'll pull them aside and be like, all right, look, well, this is what you need to do. Like, this is what you did wrong, but this is also what you did right. Like, we're not gonna continue to beat a dead horse here. And you just got screamed at by the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Now I'm not gonna come yell at you too because you dropped the ball. I'm just gonna let you know, like, look, this play you got it, And to piggyback on what Rich said too, like, kid's favorite line is, I just want to be like you. I'm trying to be like you. And my favorite line back to that is, nah, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. Like, I was good, but I want you to be better. Like, because I'm giving you all the knowledge I have on top of the skill set that you have. Like, we can do something better than that. We don't need to be what I was. Like, we can be better. So like Rich said too, I mean, we went to school together. Like, I was the king of, like, I did just enough in the weight room to get by. Just enough. Like, if on max out day, I would throw 225 on because I knew 225 looked good, and that was it. Like, I now tell them, like, when I'm in the weight room, like, look, I know you can do more than that. Don't BS me. Don't give me half effort. Like, if that's your best right there, then we can live with that. I just want them to give me their best, and I want to see them succeed. Like, I don't want half effort. I don't want BS. Like, I just want them to be the best. And then, like Rich said too, like, I coach multiple sports, so like, I'm seeing at two different schools, so I have to find that balance of like, that's my boy. Like, I just coached him in football to I'm about to play against him on the basketball court. So now I got to lock in and look at this kid in a totally different angle. Like, we're not buddies until that clock says 0. As soon as it's over, I'll give you a hug. We'll chop it up for a couple of seconds. But got to find that balance of, like, you're not my friend right now. You're my enemy, but I still love you, and I'll see you in the fall. So that right there for me was super weird as far as that aspect. And then, like, working in the school, it's a whole other thing. Like, you got a couple of them that sometimes catch themselves calling you by your first name, and you're like, whoa, hold on. You're like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
You don't know me like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like, look, it's cool, So that right there is definitely, especially being we're close in age. Like, I'm closer in age with some of the kids than some of the coaches.
Yeah.
So it's like finding that balance can definitely be hard, but if it really comes down to if the kids have the respect for you that you demand out of them, then they're gonna respect you and treat you and know that limit and know that line and when they can and can't not cross it. So that's like the biggest thing, I think, coming out from coaching.
Bro, I feel you on that, Donnie. I tell them kids all the time, look, my name is Mr. Duncan till 2:30.
Yep.
After 2:30, you can call me Coach Rich.
Call me whatever you want. Right.
But, hey, before 2:30, it was Mr. Duncan, man. That's how you address me before then. Because, I mean, but they fell in line, man. I worked with a lot of good kids, man. Definitely enjoyed that.
Definitely.
My time working at school, man. And I'm obviously still coaching there, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But, Drake, we're going to segue into our next topic here. We're going to talk about you and your books, man. Because you've been real heavy in the books. You even started up your own page at Drake's Books. For those of you who don't know, on Instagram, that'll also be in the bio when the video goes up. But Drake, just kind of talk to us about what kind of led you into, reading more, books and things like that, and then just kind of what made you want to kind of post reviews about those books and shed some light onto it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for asking that, brother. I think for me, what helped me or what got me to start reading books, and it's pretty common. I think a lot of people experience this sort of feeling where you come to realize I'm not acting like myself. I'm not being the person I should be. I'm treating people poorly. I know I'm treating people poorly, but I don't feel like it's my true self who's doing all these things. You combine that with graduating from college, me putting a lot of pressure on myself, me comparing myself unnecessarily to a lot of people for no reason at all. And then you combine that with also not being able to afford therapy. that led me to reading books. I wanted to heal. I wanted to grow. I've always been really obsessed with kind of just being like the best version of myself possible. You know, and ultimately I just found this as a great way to just heal and grow and learn, you know, every day. And just trying to find new ways to find myself, to hold myself accountable, to really live in my truth and speak my truth more often. But, you know, what it really came down to was that hitting the floor pretty much, was being at the bottom, was being in the gutter, and not, you know, and just wanting better for myself and knowing I was better than how I was acting and how I've been treating people. So, you know, I had to make that change for myself, and that's what it came down to. In terms of posting the videos and making the page, I think I kind of always had that thought, just because a lot of people sort of look to me, you know, ask me what I've been reading, recommendations, this, that, and the third. And I guess I would say about 2 of my friends or so over the course of 2 weeks were like, what are you going to do with are you going to do anything else with these books? Like, what are you really going to do with it? And, you know, in the back of my mind, I've always thought I got to do something, like maybe an Instagram page or something. You know, and eventually you stop taking things as coincidences and you take them from signs from God, and you just, you know, you just get off your ass and do it. And that's what it came down to, is just getting off my butt and doing something I felt would add value to people's lives and add value to my life as well. So I'm just trying to spread love, man. I want everybody to be the best version of themselves. I want everybody to love themselves. I want everybody to heal. I want everybody to grow, man. And I think right now I need to be better at sort of seeing where people are in their journey, understand everybody's journey is different, you know, because I hold myself to these really high standards, and, you know, I know what I'm capable of, but not everybody isn't like me. So I need to work on just being more receptive to people and their stories and their journeys.
Definitely. That's dope, man. It's definitely dope.
Yeah, nah, honestly, love that, man. What's your favorite book you got going right now, man?
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah.
Right now, I am reading, I'm almost done, called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
Okay.
Gosh, it's pretty much, it talks a lot about our egos, a lot about consciousness, pretty much just how to be the best version of yourself, pretty much. A lot of the books I read are a lot about like consciousness and like everyday little problems we all have that, you know, if you could go to I don't want to say it supplements going to a therapist, because it's not the same, and therapy is therapy, but you are able to understand some of the problems sort of that exist in our minds. And I think that's just what I've been using this all for. So
that's what's up, man. That's
kind of like I don't want to call it an escape, but maybe an escape in a sense, where you can kind of, you know, dig deep into the book, and then it kind of gives you a little bit of a understanding of what you might actually think you might be going through or something like that.
No, exactly. And it's like almost like the exact opposite of an escape, because like I'm reading to face my reality, not to run from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to each their own. I know a lot of people like to read like fantasy novels and all that stuff so that they can escape and forget about what they have going on. Not me, not my ass. I need somebody to tell me where I'm messing up. Like, and that's the athlete in me. Like, if I'm messing up, I want you to tell me, hold me accountable, check me, put me in my freaking place. Like,
right.
You know, I mean, but I'm built different. I'm not built like everybody. And again, this is part of life you got to come to understand too, though. So yeah.
I feel you.
Definitely. So you got any recommendations for the people? Like, I seen you just showed that book. You got any other recommendations?
Man, my favorite recommendations, like just generally, there's 3 books I always recommend to people, just plainly. The 3 books Rich got. I love recommending The Alchemist. I love recommending The 4 Agreements. And I love recommending The Untethered Soul. And that's because they're all sort of like, they're complex in what it's talking about, but the way it's all presented is really not basic, but easy to understand and practical. And it puts in the sense that like, oh, I don't have to be some sort of wellness, caring, holistic, blah, blah, blah to understand my mental health. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a really good lens for people to sort of rediscover themselves. But then, you know, when people got a little bit more going on and I know them a little bit more personally, I can better recommend what I think might help them for what they got going on in their life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Nah, it definitely is dope. I mean, I started on the 4 Agreements a little bit through that, man. I'm actually enjoying it, man. It's kind of just like the way he's starting to put things, you know, it's making things kind of insightful. So I'm excited to get through that. I mean, it's a pretty quick read too. It's not like you're gonna be sitting here reading a book for 3 months or anything like that. 900 pages, nothing like that. I think there can be more
Right.
than 150 pages, and it's like this big. You know what I mean? So, I mean, definitely a good read.
Exactly, and that's why I like to recommend those books too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely a good read so far, and something I'm excited to keep getting through. But we'll segue in here to the next our topic here. Just kind of talk about self-motivation. I've seen you've been posting a couple things here and there about motivating yourself and kind of finding ways to better yourself, and that's kind of been a big theme of what we talked about today. Just kind of give me some insight into that and how you feel you go about doing that.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, again, this all comes over months and years of realization and focus and a lot of hard times of figuring out failing. Really, I came to realize basically everything I do in my day affects my mental health. Right. So when I first came to understand that, I needed to better attack my day in a way that would be more, I guess, productive and positive for my well-being. So I was really fortunate and blessed to be able to, work for an 83-year-old former college basketball coach who has a wealth of knowledge and information. And he really opened up my eyes to more of like daily habits, whether they be small or big, to make changes in our lives. And I think people really overlook that, overlook the work in general and overlook the actual time and progress it takes to make a change. Mm-hmm. We think that once we know what we need to do different, we can just do it because we know. And then we wonder why these changes actually didn't happen in our lives. Is because we didn't actually get to the root causes of what's causing the things we want to change, right? So what I started to do is just research, one, what's healthy for your mind and what's healthy for your brain, generally speaking. And then two, I wanted to understand what people who were more or less successful did with their days and their mornings. And then just so from there, I developed a routine, I developed a journal, planting, gardening, taking care of myself. But ultimately just comes down to understanding that you have to figure out what the work actually entails. And it's about making lifestyle changes, not just telling yourself like empty platitudes, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Donnie, I'm kind of interested to hear about what you kind of feel about self-motivation and kind of ways you find to motivate yourself to get things done.
So, I mean, to touch on what Drake said too, for a little bit in time myself personally, I was going through it, man. I had just left college after getting hurt for the second time. Coming out of high school, I was this big time football player. Everybody had high expectations for me. Getting hurt 2 years in a row, man, put me at probably the lowest point I've ever personally been in. Coming home, not being in college was rough, but man, I mean, I got into coaching, and that definitely started it all for me, man. Like, I found a little passion for myself. Got into the school, started working. But the biggest thing lately, since I've been, I think, at my best, was I got into this book. I got into reading, to touch on kind of what Drake said earlier, man. I got into this book, and it's called Relentless by Tim S. Grover. For anybody that's been watching The Last Dance, he trained Michael Jordan. So the book is called Relentless, From Good to Great to Unstoppable. So, the average person's going to think, oh, it's just about basketball. I'm not going to read that, But he talks about in all aspects of life, just from being a parent to being a business owner to being a cashier at Walmart to being a teacher, an athlete, whatever. He really teaches you, it's okay to be good. If you're just content with being good, if you want to be great, that's awesome. You'll be successful. But if you want to be unstoppable and you want to be the best, then here's the tips, man. And he's trained some of the best people in the world, from Kobe to Jordan to D Wade. So, getting into that book, it's not just about basketball. It's about life in general. And that definitely gave me a lot of self-motivation. Shout out to my guy, Nick Christian. He's the one that recommended that book to me. And it just really opened my eyes on everything. If I want to be the best person that I can be as a coach, as a person, as a son, as a father in the future, these are some of the steps that I got to take to really open my eyes and become a better person. And then I think being in the school and being around the kids has been probably the most calming thing for myself, because you're now responsible for somebody else. I've only ever been responsible for myself, really.
Yeah.
So it's I didn't care, if something went wrong, it wasn't a big deal. I would suffer the consequences, and that would be that. Nobody was holding me accountable. But, being in the school now, you're responsible for kids and other people's lives, and something happened that's going to affect more than just myself. And that's like been a big thing for me as far as, you know, motivate myself to just be better and be a better person in general.
No, I feel that. And what I think is interesting about motivation in general is really just kind of how your motivations change over time. So like when we were younger, you know, it's like, oh, I want to be cool. I just want to be the best at something because, you know, kids always want to be the best at something, always want to be praised. You know what I mean?
Cool.
And then it's like, yeah, you want to look cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, you get a little bit older now in high school. It's like, oh, I got to impress the girls. You know what I mean? Now I got to, you know, I want to be top dog in the school. I want somebody, yo, Rich, what's good? You know what I mean? Like, you want to be that guy, right? And then, like, as you get older, your motivations change because you start to realize, like you said, Donnie, it's not just about you.
Exactly.
You know? So, like, and I think what drove me a lot was not wanting to let people down.
Definitely.
And I think that was, and I think that was becoming more negative than it was positive. And I was trying to use it positive because it's like, oh, I don't want to let my mom and my dad and my brothers down, or I don't want to let my girl down. I don't want to let my family down, whatever. I don't want to let coach down. But it kind of made any time that I failed feel like the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like if I felt like I wasn't good enough to do something, it's like, oh man, like it kind of froze me up a little bit sometimes because it'd be like, I don't know what to do. Like, why can't I do this? You know what I mean? So now that, you know, I'm a little bit older and I'm kind of able to get myself out of that mentality, and like, you know, sometimes it still does get to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, always.
It's like if I'm not able to accomplish something, I feel like, oh man, I can't believe I wasn't able to do that. Like I feel personally bad for letting people down. You know what I mean? Or feeling like I let people down, even though in reality, I didn't. You know what I mean? Like whether it was football, school, life, whatever, like you're not just letting somebody down because you failed at something, but it's more you let them down when you don't try to correct it or fix it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now that motivation, like I think now that my motivations have changed a little bit, now I'm more focused on like setting myself up for success in life and making sure I set my family up, you know, as best as I can to help them out and give them an edge in whatever I can do. And, you know, just, you know, kind of working on that side of things. It's not more of, all right, if I fail, like it's the end of the world. I've let everybody down. It's more of, all right, well, if I fail, what can I do now to motivate myself to get it right?
Definitely.
And
I
I
feel
think
like being a coach. I feel like being a coach comes with a lot of motivation, because how can I motivate you and tell you that you need to be the best if I'm not doing it myself? Like, how can I be a hypocrite and tell you like, yo, I need to do this, you got to be great, and I'm half-assed and stuff, or I'm BSing. So I feel like that definitely is my biggest motivation.
Great, bro.
Right. And I think that's why I wanted to talk about this a lot, just because I noticed you had been posting some self-motivational things and ways to kind of get yourself going. And I was like, oh man, like that kind of resonates with me, just for the fact that I need to find different ways now to motivate myself to do X, Y, Z, to make sure I have everything I need and want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, that's big time, man. That's definitely some good conversation right there. Don, you got anything else on that?
Nah, nothing else on that, man.
Dre, you good with that?
Last thing I probably would want to say to everybody is the most important person in your life is yourself, and we sort of forget that sometimes. So any change you want, it's got to start with yourself. And it's tough because a lot of us have been conditioned through different things, such as sports, the way our parents raised us, to think our self-worth is equated to what we can do for other people and to what we can accomplish. You know what I'm saying? And that's a detriment. And that's in part of the society we live in, thinking like you're only worth your job and you have to work to be able to be worth something. And then, you know, the way we're raised up too. So it's always it's just getting back to knowing who you are, understanding what your life is really about, what you really like and what you really love and what brings you joy in life. And then realizing that the people in your life have their expectations of you based on their own feelings and their own expectations. And that actually has nothing to do with us. Mm-hmm. So and it's not easy. We have to be able to drop other people's expectations for us, our parents, our siblings. It doesn't matter who they are, because they don't understand us. They aren't us. You know what I'm saying? They have all these wishes and wants and goals and dreams for us, but they don't know us. They haven't experienced our life. So that's the only thing I would add to that.
Yeah, man. I like that right there, for real. That kind of just made me think. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff that you kind of put on yourself is stuff that other people kind of put on you. and not even in a negative way. They just kind of, because they want the best for you.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. And it's like, do they even know what's really best for you?
Yep, that's what I was going to say. Only person that knows what's best for you is you.
Right, exactly. I mean, and if somebody truly knows what's best for you, they're going to come to you with the place of understanding and love, not from you need to be doing this, this, and that. It's like, hey, why are you doing this? What makes you happy? You think this is the most effective thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know there's ways to go about certain things without projecting what you want into somebody else, you know?
Definitely, man. Definitely, man. But Drake, we're gonna segue into this last topic here. A little bit of a lighter topic, man. Something a little fun for us to end on here. Let's just get into some music, man, because I know how you get. I know you're a little bit of a music connoisseur, man. You got all the hits, man. So talk to me, man. What you got going in the rotation lately, man? Any new artists you want to put us on? Anything like that, man? Talk to me.
Man, right now I've been listening to a lot of, I always listen to everything that comes out new. So that Kehlani was dope.
Okay.
Nav was Nav. Dirk went in. I like that. There's a song with Moneybagg, Young Thug, and Future that came out this weekend. It's pretty good.
Oh, the Dirk was hot?
Yes.
I ain't listened to it yet.
And then Blue Jean Bandit, too. But keep it real, bro. I've been on this little neo soul tip just because of I guess I was looking forward to that Badu versus Miss Jill Scott this weekend.
Hey, they did
that. Was giving me, hey man, my
got hits, bro.
They was burning, bro. That was awesome. We need a show just about that. But not so I just have resonated more with their lyrics right now. I've been listening to a lot of Janet, listening to a lot of Sade, you know what I'm saying? Miss India.
Right.
I just really connected with what they're talking about, and it's just more aligned with how I've been wanting to live my life right now. So I found myself more listening to a lot of neo soul right now, to be honest.
Look, man, Donnie will tell you, he know I'm always in my bag with the R&B. I got all the R&B hits going, but
always in his bag.
But for me, bro, listen, I still got to get that. I got to get on that Kehlani, and I still got to get on the Nav. I got it all in my library. I just got to get to listening to it.
Exactly.
I'm gonna keep it G with you, bro. Listen, I've had this Drake tape in rotation for a minute.
I knew this was coming. I knew it.
And I've had this Drake tape in rotation for a minute now. And I know this is supposed to be considered the throwaways for the album.
He don't miss. Drake has gotten to the point in his life, and we see this with a bunch of people in other different professions. He's living his truth and is so in touch with himself. Everything he creates is going to come out as pure as possible.
Bro,
so that's why he's at a point where there's no misses.
And
he lives his truth, and he loves himself. It's that simple. He raps about true shit.
That's real. And it's like,
and that's why we're so gravitating. That's why there's always these Instagram captions every 3 weeks filled with Drake, because he raps with a level of consciousness and awareness. There's no fakeness. There's no, oh, I did this to all these women. I got all these cars. No, I actually got all these cars. I got all these clothes. I know this many women. I'm actually outside in the AMG.
Actually outside in the AMG, bro.
Yes.
It's crazy. I was just going down the tape, and even when he get on that UK drill vibe, bro, I'm like, bro, at first, because it's a new sound, it's a newer sound to most people. So you're sitting there all right, what you trying to do? But then, when you listen to it again, you kind of all right, that's kind of hard. You know what I mean? But nah, bro, like you said, bro, in my opinion, this man don't miss. He just be dropping hits, bro.
He's competing with dead men at this point. His only competition are retired rappers and dead men and women. That's it. Drake is in the class with Michael Jackson
on the tape back to back.
Exactly. He's with Michael, he's with Whitney, he's with Stevie, he's with Prince, he's with Jay-Z. That's it. He sold more records than anyone male who's ever lived on this planet.
Oh, you got on here talking
numbers and numbers and facts are facts, bro. Maybe we'll realize it 10, 15 years from now, but what he's doing with rap, no one's ever done.
That's what it's going to take, though. That's what it's going to take. for him to really be appreciated.
Ooh,
Yeah.
He's going to have to stop. When he retires and he stops, or he becomes the Jay-Z where he'll hop on a song every once in a while, that's when people will really appreciate him more than now, because he's at the top, and people will always find a way to knock you down from the top. So
exactly.
I was that guy for a little bit. I won't deny that. You know what I mean? I was that guy that was trying to poke at him and find every little, little miss that he had. He was beefing with my guy Meek, So I was trying to find every little poke at him. But I can't knock what he's doing, man. He's definitely the best out right now. And then, I mean, you got him then, yes, J. Cole stands, who he's just a different type of music maker. But but outside of them two, I don't think there's anybody even remotely close. These new age guys,
you can't forget K-Dot. He gonna get upset. Drake gonna get upset if you forget K-Dot, bro.
No, it's all good. Y'all from the East Coast. Kendrick ain't always the first one in your mind.
No.
Can't forget.
I will not deny the fact that I will not deny the fact that I like Kendrick a lot.
Oh man.
I don't know. I do like Kendrick. I used to compare Kendrick and J. Cole all the time. Right. That was my argument all the time, but I don't listen to Kendrick. That's my thing.
Yeah,
I'm probably the least musically inclined out of the three of y'all. Like if I don't wait for albums to drop. Like I'm more of the type to I'll just get to it when I get to it type. Like I don't really, I'm more of I get into my throwback bag. My mom would play Charlie Wilson till
the cows come home, man.
I think I can name every song he's ever wrote, ever been in, everything. Like
that's a fact, though.
Just from being in the car. So it's like,
oh man,
she don't like the new music. So it's like, if I try to take the aux, she don't be having it. So
right, I feel that.
More of the throwbacks, I'll get into those as much as possible. I've been going for runs lately and trying to find some like motivational type songs more so than just listening to some like heavy rap music. Like Charlie Wilson, I'm blessed. Will be on repeat a lot while I'm on that run. Just
Hey man,
stuff like that. Like
Hey, Uncle Charlie slide though, man.
I mean,
that Uncle Charlie go crazy. Now, but I'll tell y'all what though, man. Like, y'all know me. I like to have a good time. I like something that I can bop to. Look, I done found a couple of these pop joints. Listen, a couple of these pop songs or these alternative songs. They going kind of crazy. I feel like a lot of people's trying to get on that Paramore vibe a little bit and make like them little like upbeat kind of bouncy songs that like people could just like cool out to, vibe to, whatever. But I've been finding a couple of them. Like, look, I just got put on. I was in Target shopping for a TV, right? I'm in Target, and bro, listen, I'm looking at these TVs, and it took me a minute, and then I realized like my head's been bopping for like 5 minutes, bro. Like and I'm like, yo, what is this song? So I was like, yo, Siri, what's the song? Bro, listen, they put me on to this song called Me and You by, I guess it's Honne, Honne. Listen, that joint slap, bro.
I'm about to put that in the notes real quick.
Right.
Bro, it's just like, you gonna listen to it, you be like, all right, cool. And then when the hook comes, you're just like, yeah, this slaps. And bro, it's just like a basic little happy, like, pop song, but
all about the hook, man. You
for real, bro. You got to catch the hook, bro. You got me.
Mm-hmm.
You know me? But I've been listening to a lot of stuff like that lately, just trying to find some different stuff to listen to. But I'm all over the place with my music. So if I like it, it's on. I don't care what it is.
That's fact. All right.
The thing I really ain't rocking with is that heavy metal though. I can't get with that, and I can't. And a lot of country I can't get with.
You're not trying to bang your head on. You know what I mean? You're not trying to bang your head on nothing.
Nah, man, I ain't trying to do all that and tell my mom to, whatever disrespectful stuff in them songs, bro. Nah, you know how it is, man. Man, that's crazy. But before we wrap up here, Drake, you got anything that you would like to say, man?
Man, appreciate you guys for having me, man. I'm grateful for you guys. Grateful you guys are, living in your truth, letting people tell their perspective. You know what I'm saying? You guys are passionate about something, and I think that's really inspiring. You know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for everybody that's black. I love seeing black men express themselves, be kings, love themselves. You know what I'm saying? One thing I could tell everybody is love yourself and speak life and speak love into people. It'll make you happier too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Donnie, you got anything before we wrap up here?
Definitely, man. Drake, I just want to say thanks for coming on, man, giving these great words, this great advice, this great insight on a lot of things that I probably never would have even thought about before we had this conversation. So I definitely want to thank you for that. It means a lot. I'm going to definitely check out your books. You know, as soon as Rich ever reads them, I'll definitely be on them.
No pressure, Rich.
So just again, appreciate you, man, definitely for coming on.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Look, to that point, man, look, Drake, you one of the most, genuine and, diverse souls I think I've ever met, man. And for real, I'm glad to call you a friend. I'm glad to call you a brother. I'm glad I was able to get you on here because you got a lot of different insight and a lot of different perspectives that I think could benefit a lot of people if they hear it. So I'm glad we was able to bring you on, bro. It's always love, man. Always a good time. You know what it is.
Definitely, brother.
When the quarantine end, we coming to Cali.
Oh, no question. Pull up on me. Get some tickets now while they cheap.
Yeah, right.
Listen, I'm upset LA 2020 might have turned into LA 2022, but it's cool.
Hey, it's all God's timing, bro. It'll be all right.
I'll be out there eventually.
Yeah, bro.
Let's get it, then. Can't wait to have y'all.
But yeah, that's all we got for episode 4 of the Next Man Up podcast. Everybody give a round of applause to my guy, Drake Irvine. Thank you for coming through, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Be on the lookout for more updates and info on the podcast. Make sure y'all check out my man Drake's page at Drake Books, or is it Drake _Books?
Drake's _Books.
Drake's _Books. It'll be in the bio. Go and check it out, man. Show my guy some love. Look into all them books. Make sure y'all pay attention to some of that self-motivation and things like that, man. We got a lot more coming y'all way. And we appreciate you guys, as always, tuning in. Peace.
Stay blessed.
There it is.